Hey, if you guys don't know me, my name is Buster Green. I'm an anime YouTuber. I review anime, and yeah, I'm also making my own anime. And once I get like 50 more subscribers, because I'm really close to getting monetized, yeah, maybe I'll like start changing up my format. I'm gonna drop a quick review for the hell of it for Urusei Yatsura episode 1 of the 2022 reboot. Anyway, unlike my usual videos where I kind of recap the whole episode, I don't really have the time or the willpower for this one, so I'm just going to go over the broad strokes. Also, this episode is very similar to the 1981 Urusei Yatsura episode 1 with like a few big differences. I will at some point fully review the opening and the ending because that shit is interesting for me. Alright, so anyway, this new series has gone back to the 10-minute episode format from the first 21 episodes of the original 1981 show. I'm not exactly sure why that is. I'm assuming it's because those first original 21 episodes were more direct manga adaptations, and as a result, the Urusei Yatsura manga stories were done without any filler, and that, in short, made like a 10-minute episode. After episode 21, I guess they decided they'd established enough that they could pad out the later chapters into full stories, and plus the show was super successful by then, so it made sense. I honestly have no clue why they went back to this format for the reboot, or how long they intend to keep it up, but we'll see how things go, and for right now, it's another piece of the nostalgia. I also super dig the work David Production is doing with the animation here. I'm a little concerned that at points it does basically turn into JoJo's Bizarre Adventures with the hue changes and the manga patterns all throughout the backgrounds. Sometimes it looks pretty tasteful, and I think I'm okay when Lum does it because that is true to manga Lum. But it kind of feels like they're either showing off or like they got so used to doing JoJo's that like JoJo's psychologically broke them and like permanently altered their art style. Anyway, so this first episode is just full on the first episode of Urusei Yatsura again. We get a few new scenes like the Oni invasion of Earth played for a surprisingly dramatic beat. And I definitely feel like, okay, so it's trying to be a cooler version of the first episode, but it's losing out some character substance like the 80s version, like definitely established Shinobu and Ataru's relationship a little bit better, twisted as it was. This one, on the other hand, just kind of starts it off with them hanging on by a thread, and then immediately shits on that thread. Plus, Ataru instantly does the boyfriend ugly another girl meme, which kind of oversimplifies the whole show, but then again, that kind of is the whole show. I'm a little interested in how this new show intends to balance the legacy of the old show while rebooting the content for a new generation. Also, another thing I thought was really cool about the first episode is that they teased Mendo as a sponsor of the stadium where Ataru and Lum face off. That's an interesting retcon since Mendo had no presence before he was introduced in the original manga. So yeah, they're just kind of like playing with a full deck of cards from the start this time. The one clever thing I do think they added to these random scenes where Lum and Ataru are facing off is you get to see Lum and Ataru's interaction before he has husbando plot armor. Like, in this first episode, Lum can kind of blatantly admit how crappy he is, and that's kind of a nice change of pace. Also, Lum's powers in the reboot are rolled out a little bit more slow, but a little bit more dramatically. And yes, in the moment that surely broke the hearts of otaku everywhere, even though Ataru still ripped off Lum's bikini, no nipples were seen. I haven't checked online to the rage reaction to this, but they were pissed leading up to this, so I'm sure they're even more pissed now. Anyway, I'm going to fully review the opening now, because why the hell not? So this first scene here looks really cheap and crappy. It's just an old Space Invaders video game. Oh, wait. Space Invaders. I see what they did there. That's a very deep subconscious cut. Now, after this, I love this first moment where David Productions does this absolute flex where they show they could have made the show look exactly like the manga, but no, they tried to make it better, so I just love this. Then I have weird mixed feelings about Lum singing in the opening. It's cute. I've never seen her sing before, but I don't know, I don't really consider her to be a singing character, so that's a little kind of throwing me off. But I love this fucking scene after it where they show all the fucking characters in the audience and like you can just like instantly tell how they feel about Lum. It really reminds me that Lum has a lot of fucking enemies, especially other women. I cannot wait to see how the reboot handles Ran either. Also, this scene is really interesting since it lays out the whole cast early. Big takeaways from this cast photo. Ryunosuke's not here, but that makes sense because she comes up much later in the story. What is interesting, though, is Ten is not here. If you guys don't remember Ten, he was like the annoying Scrappy-Doo baby brother cousin character. Anyway, I wonder if they're going to omit him from the series. Like, he kind of sucks. He was kind of just there to set up awkward jokes where the punchline was always, and then Ataru beats up a baby. Which I don't think is going to fly in 2022, at least not the way it did in 1981. So I'm really curious if Ten's in the show now. Anyway, then there's this roller coaster shot. I think it kind of goes on too long. I do enjoy it a little bit more freeze frame than I do in motion though, which is weird. And then the freaking like climax of the opening is this massive Lum nostalgia bomb here. You see like a condensed 40 years of like history, merchandise, official art. You even got some deep callbacks to the Lum Famicom game. And was there a Game Boy game too? That's news to me. Anyway, after that, a few more random gorgeous shots where we see like Lum at a playground, and then like we get this super modern moment where like Ataru can't go on Tinder because Lum hacked it and became every woman in town. That's kind of surreal, but sure. And then at the end of the OP, Ataru accepts Lum as his wife, and they go off to have their day together. Which again is kind of the whole show in a second. Alright, next up I'm going to review the second episode. Now, this is a much more interesting and tasty morsel of content. The second episode. Now, this is a new story to me, where immediately after Lum and Ataru get married, Shinobu is trying to work out her feelings for him, but unfortunately Lum uses her spaceship to drive them apart and like destroy like cell phone signals in the area. Oh wait, are they even cell phones? Now, I'm not even sure what exactly the DNA is with this episode because like everything Lum and Ataru did in this episode felt like 100% brand spanking new shit. But on the flip side, Shinobu's dialogue and Shinobu's behavior in this episode gave me hella hard deja vu to the point where I feel like I saw Shinobu's plotline in the 80s version. And maybe they let's like completely change what went down with Lum and Ataru in this episode. Like I want to say I remember an episode where Shinobu gave up on Ataru, but I want to say it happened much later in the series, and I don't think it was as dramatic as this. Also, what's interesting is Lum still has her UFO in this episode. I was wondering what was up with that since I saw it in the trailer, and technically in the original series it only really like showed up in the opening. They crash it by the end of the episode, but I wonder if Lum's gonna keep it and like use it to get more random alien shit. I'm also really confused when this series is taking place. I thought from like the trailers, like they showed Ataru having a cell phone and like Tinder in the OP, but then they keep dropping these like blatant 1981 items like the CRT TV here. And so now I'm wondering if this is a true to the original manga set in 1981 story. Like, look at this like blatant weird old shit. Wait, Shinobu and Ataru are using landline phones in this episode. Ataru's phone even has a fucking rotary dial. Am I nostalgic for rotary dials right now? Anyway, so is this a period piece set in the 80s? That's really my biggest question after this first episode. Anyway, I fucking love the opening and the ending songs for the reboot. I also love the way like Lum just perfectly spins around in the ending. Like, is this fully 2D animated? If it's not, then it's the most perfect 2D style 3D animation I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, yeah, I like that also the opening and the ending contain some subtle references to the original opening and ending. Just enough to make you like remember it. Yeah, this whole episode has been like a real like exercise in like nostalgia and like deja vu, but aside from that, the new Urusei Yatsura show freaking slaps, and like I think everyone should watch it. Alright guys, I'm Buster Green, and I probably won't be reviewing the rest of the show, but watch it, let me know what you think. Let me know if you had any takeaways about the first episode. Are you annoyed that you didn't get that Lum buoy shot? Are you shocked that it's set in 1981? Let me know. Alright, thanks guys. Leave a comment. Subscribe.